Not sure whether to go into financial accounting or management accounting? You're not alone. A lot of people hear those titles and think, aren't they basically the same thing? Now, both of those roles deal with numbers, obviously, but the type of work, the skills that you use, and even who you're actually doing it for can be very different depending on whether you're a financial accountant or a management accountant. Now, in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through the key differences between financial accounting and management accounting clearly and simply so that you can decide what path might suit you the best. Now, let's start with the audience. Who are financial accountants and who are management accountants actually working for? Now, a financial accountant produces financial reports for people who are outside of the business. So think of people like investors, tax authorities, regulators, and so on. And the reason that financial accountants are essentially producing reports for these people outside the business is they're trying to produce an accurate picture of what the company is actually doing by following strict rules like the IFRS or the UK standards. And that's so that those who are reading the statements can understand what's actually going on in the company. On the other hand, a management accountant tends to work for people who are inside the business, so usually senior management or the heads of departments. And their goal is to help the business to make better decisions, not just report on the numbers that are involved. Now, let's look at what the different kinds of accountants focus on. So financial accountants will tend to look at the past. They're going to look at things that were earned, things that were spent, and things that were reported last month, quarter, or last year. So they're focusing on things like financial statements, audits, tax returns, and making sure everything adds up correctly. So basically, past financial transactions. Now, whereas financial accountants are focused on the past, management accountants are much more focused on the future. So they will work on things like budgets, forecasts, costing, variance analysis. They might help to decide whether launching a new product is actually going to be financially viable, whether they need to cut costs, whether they need to invest in new equipment. So whereas financial accounting is about accuracy and compliance, management accounting is about insight and strategy. Now let's talk about tools and skills that are required for each of these kinds of accountants. So financial accountants need to know their reporting standards inside out. They need to be really detail focused. They need to be able to work with tight deadlines, especially when it's starting to get to the end of the month or the end of the financial year. So they really need that detailed knowledge to make sure that the financial statements they're preparing are as accurate as possible. Now, management accountants are going to need strong analysis skills, but they also focus on working with people across the business. So communication is going to be really key as well for a management accountant. So they don't just need to understand the numbers, they need to be able to explain them clearly to lots of people who might not have the accounting knowledge that they have. They need to be able to explain what is actually happening on the ground in sales, in operations, or in logistics, and explain how those numbers link to those activities. Now let's talk about what qualifications you need in order to be either a financial accountant or a management accountant. Now the good news is you can go into either route by qualifying with either CIMA or the ACCA, but there are some preferences. Now CIMA, which is the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, tends to be more focused on, as the name suggests, management accounting. The ACCA, which is the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, tends to focus more on financial reporting, audit, and tax, even though it does also cover management accounting as well. So if you're absolutely certain what kind of accounting you want to go into, you may want to strategically choose one over the other. But both careers can lead to senior roles. One of them might take you to the role of finance director, whereas the other might lead to you becoming a business partner or a head of strategy. So to sum up, financial accountants look at the past and report to outsiders, whereas management accountants look at the future and report to insiders. They both use numbers, but in completely different ways. Now, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe for more accounting content.